Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Well, welcome into your latest forecast here on a Tuesday. Meteorologist Joe Hansel with you. It's another day with a well-deserved break of the rain. It'll be a primarily dry day. Any isolated shower that manages to develop in our mostly stable environment will be brief and isolated. Most of us are dry. The main impacts may be with fog yet. Still be mindful of low visibility, naturally, with any fog that may impact your morning drives out there. Fly Saber forecast, it starts at home. Tampa near 92, Orlando 95, Atlanta 94, elsewhere New York City 81. Watching for a chance of a shower and storm from Panhandle to Panhandle. Highs mid-70s to near 80. A mix of sun and clouds, but generally mostly sunny and dry for the day. Some of our high elevation spots, some more low 70s popping up, and some mid to upper 70s too. Eastern Panhandle in the low to mid 80s with a mixture of sun and clouds, but mostly sunny today. Across some of our northern areas in the state, Morgantown, heavy at 77 today. Harrisville near the Big 80 at 80 with sunshine. And to the south, it's more 70s and 80s generally. Low to mid 80s for west spots like Huntington, heavy at 84. Summersville near 76 with sunshine today. Charleston, dry, high near 83. Light north winds or variable at times as well. And partly cloudy skies with some areas of patchy to widespread dense fog. Overnight and tomorrow morning that it may impact the state. Well, I'll be watching a slight chance of showers and storms on Thursday. Best timing of showers and storms around Thursday night, where some locally heavy rain is a possibility. So I'm keeping eyes on Thursday night for our best chance of rain. For the end of the weekend, the weekend, it's very low. Most of us may be dry for Friday and Saturday. Less than 10% chance of showers there in Charleston, near 90 next week, Monday.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
Loaded show this morning. Attorney General J.B. McCuskey will join us in studio. We'll check in with Jared Halpern, and Dr. James Moore, president of West Virginia Wesleyan, will be by. This is MetroNews Talkline. We're underway.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the Metro News Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is Metro News Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check set line up link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Q Dave and TJ. You're on. Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Welcome inside the Encova Insurance Studios. Dave in Morgantown, TJ in Charleston. Ethan Collins is our audio producer this morning. He handles the phones as well. Give him a call, 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. You can text the show, 304-TALK-304. Zach Karolchek, man of the people, handling the video stream today. Say good morning to our great radio affiliates across the state. And if you're watching in on the Metro News TV app, Facebook Live, and YouTube, we appreciate that as well. Attorney General J.B. McCuskey will join us a couple of minutes from now. A little bit later, Jack Carlson will stop by, Metro News reporter. He was keeping an eye on the Huntington City Council discussion regarding, wait for it, flock cameras. We'll get into that later. Jared Halpern and Berkeley County Delegate Mike Hornby will join us as well as the show unfolds this morning. Say good morning, TJ Meadows in the Charleston Bureau. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I have to tell you, I'm doing a lot better than Jed York today. So there's that.
What did Jed York do?
You don't want to know.
You didn't read about Jed York, the 49ers guy?
I did not today. What did he do?
Arrested on suspicion of engaging in prostitution.
You missed the best part of the story.
He was in Ohio, and well, you tell it then, JB. I mean, you're the law enforcement official here.
This is a billionaire owner of an NFL football team in San Francisco who was caught with a prostitute in a trailer park in East Palestine, Ohio, which is a suburb of Toledo?
I think so. It's where the train derailment happened.
Youngstown. It is where the train derailment happened. That's correct.
That's like a half hour from Newell and the very tippy top of the Panhandle. That's not that far away from West Virginia.
I'm sure Bob Kraft and the Patriots are breathing a sigh of relief today.
Nope.
Yeah, in The Guardian, here's the headline. San Francisco 49ers owner Jed York pleads no contest. Pleads no contest.
Zero contest.
After arrest at Ohio trailer park.
More coming at 11. All right. No, totally missed that this morning. All right. Well,
Yeah,
I would say you're doing much better than the owner of the 49ers today. All right,
He's still a billionaire.
That's a good point. Let me give the formal introduction. West Virginia Attorney General J.B. McCuskey joining us from the Charleston studios this morning. The reason we have him in, last week, Attorney General McCuskey announced changes to the way future opioid settlement funds will be distributed, increasing the share of settlements going directly to state and local governments. J.B., as you already know, joins us from Charleston. Good morning officially, sir.
Good morning. How are you? How's Morgantown?
It's still here. Week into the fall semester, which is always good news.
Is it Fall Fest this week?
No Fall Fest this year.
What?
Welcome Week was last week, and they changed the way it run its course over the course.
I didn't even go to WVU, and I went to Fall Fest.
Well, you're part of the problem, JD.
Yeah, it was really. Oh, sorry. I mean, I was in college. I just wasn't at that college.
No, they changed things up a little bit this year with Welcome Week and how they welcome the students
tamer.
back. Yeah, a little bit. No problems, no major problems back in town.
Good.
So,
well, good luck to all the students.
All right, explain the changes here, because I think there was some confusion about when and how it would all be implemented. So go ahead and give us the rundown here. Why are we making the changes, and when will it be implemented?
Yeah, I think the first and most important thing to note here is that the foundation, as it's set up, is great. And Jonathan Board, who runs the foundation, is doing a fantastic job, a very difficult job. And he's been entrusted with an astronomical amount of money that is also a testament to former Attorney General and current Governor Patrick Morrisey's efforts in settling all of the opioid claims against the manufacturers and against the distributors. And so those settlements came down years ago, as we all know, and there was an MOU created under those settlements that in order to settle those cases, because the counties and cities had their own lawyers and the Attorney General had the state's case. And the manufacturers and distributors wouldn't settle the case in totality if there were two separate cases going on. So they created this MOU to sort of organize all of these different governments. And it should be noted that the Attorney General's office is actually not constitutionally allowed to represent cities and counties, which is sort of what creates this inherent conflict. As we are here today, we have suits against pharmacy benefit managers who we believe are probably the most culpable of all of the interests involved in the opioid crisis. And we've talked about this before. They were the ones that had the data on the front end, the back end. They knew who was prescribing. They knew when they were prescribing. They knew what people were getting the prescriptions. And they incentivized pharmacies and doctors through rebates, et cetera, to sell more opioids in the middle of the crisis. They also came in the middle, right? They were handed the information and they were given a blanket and a gasoline. And they could have put a blanket on the fire, but they threw gasoline on it because they wanted to make money. And now they're giant multinational corporations that are profiting very distinctly off the sale of overprescribed opioids, period, end of discussion. But now these cases are different. And we now have lawyers on both sides of these two cases that are bringing, quite frankly, different causes of action. We have different, it's a different day, it's a different defendant, and the MOU, as it stands today, it didn't make sense in the way that this case was going to be litigated. So all of the money from the prior settlements will be distributed in the exact way that the former MOU dictated. We cannot, would not, and should not undo that. That is part of a court order. And the foundation and the way that that MOU was set up was done very, very well. As we are now, the state will have its own case. The counties and cities will have their own case. The money that the state gets from its settlements will go to the general revenue fund, and the cities and counties and their lawyers will figure out how to distribute the money that they get from their cases against these defendants. And it should also be noted, and I think this is still true, we actually have two cases. We have a case against United Health, and we have a case against Express Scripts, and they only have a case against United Health.
Can the legislature, in its wisdom, decide that money should go somewhere other than general revenue? Can they set up some kind of holding fund and do what they want with it? Is
the
that
legislature can do whatever it is that they want with it. It is
really?
my job.
Are you sure? No, I'm playing.
It is my job as the state's lawyer to maximize the dollars that these settlements can create and to get them into the general revenue fund. And the legislature has the ability to in a very transparent way, right? These are your elected officials. The legislature gets to take this money and appropriate it to spend in the ways that they see fit for their ideas on how to, mitigate the opioid crisis and to do the things that the people in West Virginia need to do to get better and to keep kids from starting on opioids in the first place.
I want to go back to the first point you made and just reiterate that the $800 million settlement that created the West Virginia First Foundation, that is not impacted, and the First Foundation will continue its mission to distribute that money and, I would assume also through managing that money, grow that pot to continue efforts to fight the opioid epidemic here in the state. That remains unchanged. I just want to emphasize that.
Yeah, that remains unchanged, and they will be receiving funding, I believe, through 2031 based on the prior settlement. I think they have somewhere in the neighborhood of $250 million to $300 million more that will be coming into the foundation, and all of the cities and counties will be getting their share, their 25% share or 23% share, whatever it was, over the next years as well, in the same way that the MOU prescribed.
Are you happy just personally with how that money's being applied and what you see happening?
Yeah. I mean, I think that what we have is a very deliberate body that is being run by an excellent manager. And anytime that you create a foundation where there are, a myriad of voices and a ton of people who have great ideas and they're all batting it around, you have to be very specific about the ways in which you want to spend the money. And I think Jonathan has been doing a great job of focusing the foundation on its core missions and getting the money out as quickly as can be done in a way that's smart, right? I mean, you could just go out and spend $800 million and wash your hands of it and say we're done, or you can really hone in on who are the people that are doing this the best, who are the people that deserve this funding, and what are the smart ways that we can utilize this funding going forward to make $800 million spend like $2.5 billion.
So, talking to State Attorney General J.B. McCuskey, so how does this really, or does this benefit the cities, the counties, the communities more directly, this setup moving forward versus the previous setup, or is this, like you said, it's just a new day called for a new direction?
That will be up to the lawyers for the cities and counties. Like I said, I am not allowed to represent the cities and counties. They have their own lawyers. They have their own cases. And so they will figure out going forward how their clients will share in the proceeds from any settlement or judgment that they get in these cases. So, my presumption is that it'll be a much more direct model, that the funding that comes in from their side of these cases will be distributed directly to the cities and counties. But that's not my call. That's the call for the lawyers, and they're smart guys. They will figure out the best way to do this. From our standpoint, a couple things have happened. One, this money will end up in general revenue, which means that every person in West Virginia for this round of funding will get to look their delegate or their senator in the eye and say, I don't think you spent that money properly. And two, the total share of attorney's fees from the first cases were somewhere in the neighborhood of 17.5% or something like that. And we think that the lawyers for the state in this round will likely be getting almost definitely under 10%. So there'll be a little bit more money that comes back into the state on that end as well.
The market was 17% a little high?
No,
No,
that's very reasonable. I mean, when you consider the length of time that this case took, when you consider the amount of discovery, you consider the total amount of clients, the lawyers, people seem to forget that it costs a lot of money to prosecute a case like this. And when you're waiting for settlements, it's all a front-loaded investment. And so a lot of these lawyers were putting their own personal funds. And to be fair, if they'd gotten a zero verdict or were unable to settle these cases, they're out all of that money.
So they took the risk.
There's a huge risk in taking these cases. Yes, absolutely. And so, is 17% an unreasonable amount? I don't think that it is.
State Attorney General J.B. McCuskey in studio down in Charleston. Hey, can I switch gears totally on you here? I'm going to anyway, whether you say yes or no. But
no.
All right, well, fine.
No, do it. Sorry, I'm just kidding.
Before I let you go, story in West Virginia Watch today from Amelia Nicely. Your office sent a letter to Kanawha County schools. What issue or what came up that caught your attention with Kanawha County schools and Hope Scholarship?
Yeah, so as the lawyer for the people of West Virginia, many of our clients are parents who have children with IEPs, children who have autism, children who have Downs, children who have physical abnormalities, et cetera, who, a lot of them trust the public schools to take care of their kids, to help them with their dyslexia, et cetera. But a lot of them also want to use the Hope Scholarship to try to maybe find a more bespoke or a more specific program for their child. And several of these parents received a letter from the school board when they opted for the Hope Scholarship that I actually found threatening. And I think, to be fair, if what you're looking to do is to build up public schools at the expense of the Hope Scholarship, if you want all the kids back, the better thing would have been done to say, we're really sorry that you've chosen the Hope Scholarship, but we need you to know that we support you, we support your family, we love your child, and when you come back, you will be welcomed with open arms, and your IEP will be honored. And all of the things, all of the structures that we've built to help support your child and your family will be in place the minute you get back, because we want to welcome you. But the way that the letter reads is it says that if your child tries to come back to public school after they take the Hope Scholarship, their IEP will essentially be canceled. They will be put into this sort of general population of schools. None of the disciplinary rules that surround kids with IEPs and behavioral disorders, et cetera, will apply to your child, and we'll get to their new IEP when we get to it. And to me, that runs afoul of several.
Is that a chill? Is that what they were trying to do? Were they trying to chill people?
I think they probably need to chill. But the long and the short of it is if you're the parent of a child who has autism, or you're the parent of a child who has a disability, there's nothing scarier than all of the choices you make for a young child in that position as a parent. Mm-hmm. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to be supporting those parents and those kids as much as humanly possible. And it doesn't make any sense to essentially punish the kid for a decision that their parent made.
What you're describing, I think, is a culture change. And look, I've heard Paul Hardesty, which is the state board. We're talking about the Kanawha County board.
Well, no, we sent the letter to the state board.
Okay. But I've heard...
and to be fair, we sent the letter quietly, but...
Okay. But I have heard this shift of we have to be more customer focused. We have to compete. I've heard that message. I don't know how far it has trickled down yet, but you bring up that point. And I think it's a new thing because public schools, perhaps they've never had to earn a client, if that makes sense. And if you've never had to earn a client, you're not used to the tactful back and forth and the win back process and what So I think there's a learning curve there. And look, I don't think it's a bad thing that it's out. I think that's good. People need to know what people say, what government offices say.
Yeah, and to be fair, this is really about making sure that parents and children have options, right? And the Hope Scholarship, I think, is one of these things that was a truly bold step taken by our legislature and has the ability to do incredible things. I think we need to be very, very careful when we start treating kids as a line item and total enrollment as the end all be all based on the school aid formula. It doesn't. Nobody cares what your budget is, right? What the care is are you providing a thorough and efficient education to every single child in the state of West Virginia? And that's just something we have to do. And I think the Hope Scholarship is a great tool in the toolbox. And I think that we need to be very, very careful to the parents who've chosen it to say to them, if it doesn't work out where you're going, if your argument is our schools are better, everyone should be in the traditional public school, I don't think I understand why you would say, well, we know where you're going is going to be worse, but if you come back, we're going to treat you like dirt. That doesn't make any sense. The better thing to say is we believe we're providing a wonderful opportunity for your child. If this doesn't work out, we cannot wait to have them back and welcome you as a family to the public school system or the traditional public school system.
State Attorney General J.B. McCuskey, always a pleasure, sir. Thanks for stopping by.
Hey, let's go Mountaineers. We got I don't know if you guys heard Rich Rod the other day, but I think we're cracking some pads up there in Morgantown. I think we're going to surprise some people this year.
Season opener next week. Thanks, JB. Appreciate it, buddy.
Bye, guys.
Back in a moment. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Hey, this is Brad Howe for your local internet provider, CityNet. Fiber is now at your front door and even in rural areas and communities across West Virginia. Thanks to broadband expansion funding, your tax dollars helped make it possible. And CityNet turned that investment into real connections for local families and businesses. Now, you can get blazing fast fiber internet with free installation, free equipment, no long-term contract, and local customer support that's always close to home. Don't settle for slow or no internet for another day. When it's high-speed internet you need, CityNet.net connects, protects, and perfects.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Football season begins right here on Metro News Television. Join us Thursday, August 27th for the 2026 WVSSAC kickoff game. Presented by the Army National Guard. The Cameron Dragons battle the Clay Battelle Seabees live from Blacksville. Don't miss the first kickoff of the new season, the 2026 WVSSAC kickoff game. Thursday, August 27th at 7 p.m. Pre-game coverage starts at 6:30 p.m. Powered by GoMart, only on Metro News Television.
On the next State of Minds.
I was in liver failure, and I was told I needed to quit drinking or I was going to die, and that was at 36. When he invited me to church, all the hair on my arms, my chest, my back, it all stood up. You're taught to love, you're taught to forgive, and there's a reason for that. It lets you be healthy and lets you move forward with a vision for your life that's not defined by what happened to you.
I think many people have a misconception that all that we do is infertility care, and that's not the case. Reproductive health matters whether or not you're trying to conceive. So we can be dealing with endometriosis, ovulation dysfunction, PCOS. You're getting linked up with all the specialties that you need to optimize your care. Being an advocate for your reproductive health is important. The most rewarding times that I have is when I'm empowering people to take control of their health.
It's our 23rd anniversary, and to celebrate, we're having a huge anniversary sale all month long on all Toyota trucks and pre-owned vehicles. We've discounted over 100 pre-owned vehicles this month, most of which are local one-owner trades. Great deals on all our Toyota trucks, and with over 90 in stock, now is the time to get yours. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for all the support over 23 years. Dan Cava, Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Huntington City Council met last night. Metro News reporter Jack Carlson was keeping an eye as the conversation turned to flock cameras, the ALPRs. Jack joins us from the Charleston studios. Jack, good morning. What was this conversation last night at the Huntington City Council meeting focused on?
So if you remember last month, Huntington City Council voted to approve the $2.1 million contract with flock cameras. And ever since, they've been trying to institute some guardrails. Well, Mayor Patrick Farrell had an ordinance that he proposed before the council about some ordinances to kind of define what the cameras can and can't do within the city of Huntington. And he has, within the past couple of meetings, talked about the crime statistics within Huntington to support his proposal of this ordinance and of the flock security cameras. So we hear from Patrick Farrell talking about the public safety dashboard that he put out just to try and communicate some of those statistics.
You don't have to take my word for it or anyone else's word for it. What you can do is look for yourself, and you can determine, is this the right amount of crime for the city? Is it too much? Is it too little? For me, it's too much. And I'm pointing to these statistics as the reason why.
Sarah Walling, a city councilwoman, had talked directly to Farrell and said, we're not really convinced that this FLA contract is the way to go.
You said earlier, who watches the watchers? The people do. The people don't want this. And I think that we should be listening and watching what they are telling us, because the watchers are telling us that this is bad.
And as of right now, nothing has really been done with the ordinance as far as just permanent steps going forward. They're going to have a second reading at their next meeting. And guys, it's a very slippery slope that Huntington City Council is trying to walk right now because it's relatively unprecedented. And Farrell talked about this himself, saying that he wants Huntington to set the precedent for how to deal with flock guardrails. Some people in the public, as you might imagine, addressed the city council and were far from positive with the reviews of flock cameras. And it remains to be seen what Huntington is going to do, because as of right now, guys, the contract has not been signed.
You can read more from Jack over at the website this morning at WVMetroNews.com. Jack, always appreciate it. Thanks for getting up early, coming in this. Well, It's not that early, Jack. I mean, come on.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. Coming up, we're going to talk to Dr. James Moore. He is the president of West Virginia Wesleyan College, friend of the show. Going to join us in studio. West Virginia Wesleyan announcing some new initiatives to make higher education more affordable. We'll do that later. Second hour, Jim McKay will join us. We'll get an update on TANF and school clothing vouchers. That's coming up second hour of the show today. This is Talkline from the Cove Insurance Studios on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Well, welcome into your latest forecast here on a Tuesday. Meteorologist Joe Hansel with you. It's another day with a well-deserved break of the rain. It'll be a primarily dry day. Any isolated shower that manages to develop in our mostly stable environment will be brief and isolated. Most of us are dry. The main impacts may be with fog yet. Still be mindful of low visibility, naturally, with any fog that may impact your morning drives out there. Fly Saber forecast, it starts at home. Tampa near 92, Orlando 95, Atlanta 94, elsewhere New York City 81. Watching for a chance of a shower and storm from Panhandle to Panhandle. Highs mid-70s to near 80. A mix of sun and clouds, but generally mostly sunny and dry for the day. Some of our high elevation spots, some more low 70s popping up, and some mid to upper 70s too. Eastern Panhandle in the low to mid 80s with a mixture of sun and clouds, but mostly sunny today. Across some of our northern areas in the state, Morgantown, heavy at 77 today. Harrisville, near the Big 80 at 80 with sunshine. And to the south, it's more 70s and 80s, generally low to mid 80s for west spots like Huntington, heavy at 84. Summersville, near 76 with sunshine today. Charleston, dry, high near 83. Light north winds or variable at times as well, and partly cloudy skies with some areas of patchy to widespread dense fog. Overnight and tomorrow morning that it may impact the state. Well, I'll be watching a slight chance of showers and storms on Thursday. Best timing of showers and storms around Thursday night, where some locally heavy rain is a possibility. So I'm keeping eyes on Thursday night for our best chance of rain. For the end of the weekend, the weekend, it's very low. Most of us may be dry for Friday and Saturday. Less than 10% chance of showers there in Charleston, near 90 next week, Monday.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
On the next State of Minds.
I was in liver failure, and I was told I needed to quit drinking or I was going to die, and that was at 36. When he invited me to church, all the hair on my arms, my chest, my back, it all stood up. You're taught to love, you're taught to forgive, and there's a reason for that. It lets you be healthy and lets you move forward with a vision for your life that's not defined by what happened to you.
This year, several people applied for the job Morrissey going with Kinzer. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Jeff Jenkins.
More on Flock coming up in just a moment. Mike Hornby, Berkeley County delegate, going to join us in the second hour. Jared Halpern will stop by as well. West Virginia Wesleyan College taking new steps to make private college education more affordable and attainable. Announcing a new set of initiatives today, locking in tuition for 4 years, increasing academic scholarships, creating new opportunities for qualifying students to have the full cost of tuition covered. You certainly have my attention. Joining us in studio in the Encova Insurance Studios in Morgantown this morning is Dr. James Moore, president of West Virginia Wesleyan College. Dr. Moore, good to see you again.
Thank you so much for having me here. Really appreciate it.
How's fall semester so far?
Really, really great. We brought a really strong class in. There's a real great buzz on campus. The weather cooperated this weekend, and it's beautiful. It's wonderful to have everybody back on campus.
All right, let's jump into these initiatives you're announcing today. I mentioned they include locking in tuition, increasing academic scholarships, creating new opportunities for qualifying students to have full cost of tuition covered. Generally speaking, I think the goal is pretty clear. Make higher education more affordable.
And transparent and more predictable from a cost standpoint. So the tuition lock guarantee that we rolled out to incoming students, new students next year, our current students had that benefit. That's something that we really believe in. If you're going to sign on the dotted line and go to a college for 4 years and make that commitment, you ought to be able to know that that tuition price is not going to increase. So that's our promise to students. If you come to Wesleyan in 2027, the tuition that you start with is the tuition that you're going to finish with.
Morning, sir. It's good to have you here. Talk to us about the Home Among the Hills program.
We're excited about this one. So for Pell-eligible West Virginians with a 3.3 weighted GPA or higher, we're going to bring together Wesleyan scholarships and state and federal aid to meet the cost of tuition. And because of the tuition lock guarantee, that tuition isn't going to go up. We want more West Virginia students to be able to stay in West Virginia. That's something that we all should be concerned about, the population drain of our state, and we have a role to play in that. And so not only are we trying to make this more accessible and easier to navigate, but we want to keep more West Virginians in West Virginia.
What's the advantage to using Pell Grant eligibility as a standard for this program?
So the Pell Grant is there to help families, whether they're going to a public or a private college, right? So it's a need-based financial aid. Students can take that Pell Grant to any institution that's accredited. So first of all, that's money that goes into a student's pocket to help them to get to college. But even more so important than that, a lot of Pell students tend to be first-generation college students. Not all of them, but a lot of them. About 35% of our incoming freshmen are first-generation college students. They're the first person in their family to go to college. And so we want to invest in those kinds of students because we know disproportionately West Virginia has a higher number of first-generation college students who also happen to be Pell eligible. These are people who need that extra help and qualify for it, and it's worth us investing in them.
Dr. Moore, people hear about the Promise Scholarship and they may think about state schools because it's a state program. Mm-hmm. There's more to that, and Wesleyan is also making the Promise Scholarship more than what it is. Talk about that.
Sure, I appreciate that. So the Promise Scholarship right now is $5,500, and students can take that $5,500 to a public school, or they can apply it to an independent college like us. So what we've decided to do is create a program called Wesleyan Promise Plus, and what that means to a West Virginia student is if you qualify for the Promise Scholarship and you get that $5,500, on top of it, we will put additional financial aid so that your tuition and fees are covered in full. And we're doing that because Promise scholars at West Virginia Wesleyan College keep their Promise award at very high numbers. They have to maintain certain academic standards to keep that award, regardless of what school they go to. So Promise scholars have a high level of success at Wesleyan, and we want to invest in those kids.
President of West Virginia Wesleyan College, Dr. James Moore, joining us here in the Encova Insurance Studios in Morgantown this morning. What about students who have academic scholarships? How can you expand that and get more value?
So we've taken a real hard look at our current academic scholarships, and look, prices are rising everywhere, right? And in addition to folks needing more predictability, we also need to be giving folks more access to higher education. So we have taken a hard look at our academic awards. We've increased each of those by $2,000. So our top academic award is now $20,000. It was $18,000. Our mid-tier academic award is $18,000. It was $16,000. And our foundational scholarship was $14,000, and now it's $16,000. And those are renewable every year if you maintain the academic standards to maintain those. So it's not a $20,000 one-time shot if students are getting the presidential scholarship. That's $80,000 in tuition assistance that comes directly to those students.
We were just talking about the idea of earning a student, and it was in the K-12 context. But that's something I think you're more familiar with, and specifically at Wesleyan. When I read what you're doing here, you're trying to earn a student, not only through what you offer, but also make it financially affordable. College is competitive. Talk about that.
Yeah, there are so many options for students now. And I had a teacher once that would always tell me options equal freedom. Students have more options now than ever. And a lot of those options are out of state. And look, I'm not knocking our out of state, competitors, but if we want to earn more students and keep them in West Virginia, we've got to make this a simpler process. Students shouldn't have to navigate complex financial aid situations to figure out whether or not they can afford college. So we've got to make the value clear and the value proposition of an education clear. But the last thing we need to do is confuse anybody with complicated financial aid structures. And I think all of higher ed needs to start doing better there. And I also have to say this too. We're proud that we're going to be locking our tuition for these students that are coming in next year, the students that are currently on campus as well. Colleges around the country have been raising their tuition costs. We have been doing this for years. I can't control what the utility company charges us to heat a dorm through a West Virginia winter or to turn the lights on. Colleges have the same kinds of pressures that families do. We have grocery bills. All those things are going up, but we can control tuition. And we're asking different questions now about what our responsibilities are to invest in students. So I think if you're appropriately investing in students and signaling to them that you want to continue that investment in a predictable way and make it simple, that's how you earn a student, in my opinion.
So we're talking to Dr. James Moore, president of West Virginia Wesleyan College. What kind of questions are you asking yourself as you sit there and you look at the landscape of higher education and how to attract students? What kind of questions are you asking, and what kind of answers have you come up with?
The question that's at the center of every conversation that we have at West Virginia Wesleyan College is the student being served? The student has to be at the center of all of our decisions. We exist for students, and it's really easy for institutions in this day and age to lose sight of that because it's so turbulent out here. And so are our academic programs relevant? We believe they are. Are students succeeding when they graduate from West Virginia Wesleyan College? We believe they are. We have data to suggest that. Are they earning a competitive wage when they get into their careers? We believe that they are. So we have to continue to ask the central question: are we serving our students? I know that might sound kind of trite, but everything's got to flow from that. And for us, doing that for 136 years, it would be really easy for us to rest on our laurels, and we just can't do that. We have to continue to be very intentional about serving our students. That's the central question.
The trap you talk about falling into and losing sight of the students. I think a lot of the larger institutions across the country, I'm thinking the really, really big schools, have fallen victim to that. Does it help you to be a bit smaller? Is it easier to keep mind on mission when you're the size of West Virginia Wesleyan versus some of these other huge schools?
I love that question. Thank you for that, because I really do believe that that's our case. Keep mind on mission. I'm going to start thinking of it that way. For us, mission's got to be central. And I think our size does incredibly propel that. This is the kind of college where you know the students and they know you. When I shake a student's hand or give them a hug when they walk across the stage to get their diploma, I've probably bought that student, several cups of coffee and had deep conversations with them. And everybody at Wesleyan can say that. And that's a real attribute. So, it makes decisions like this easier for us to act on. But again, asking that central question, are we serving our students? I got a student's name or face in my head when I'm asking that question. So those aren't numbers. Those are real, tangible people. And we know what they're doing. We know what they're doing well. We know what they're not doing well. And I think that matters more and more now with the advances that are happening in technology and artificial intelligence. This generation of students is going to have a really challenging go of things, but they're also really determined and really resilient. They need a college that's willing to invest in them and know them as people.
Dr. James Moore joining us, West Virginia Wesleyan College, announcing new initiatives to lock in tuition for 4 years, increase academic scholarships, create new opportunities for students qualifying qualifying students to have the full cost of tuition covered. I know there are parents out there, when they hear these two words, private college, they go, oh boy, I'm going to have to go get an Uber. I'm going to have to get a side gig here. But do initiatives like this push back on that idea that private institutions may not be attainable? Maybe pushes back on that idea to say, hey, yes, they are, and here's how.
Absolutely. Look, we know that when a student and their family decides on the college of their choice, that's the result of lots of kitchen table conversations and lots of sitting down and looking at how much they can afford. I mean, this is maybe one of the single biggest investments that a family can make, aside from buying a house. And so, yeah, I think the common notion is that private colleges are too expensive and are unattainable. We've been saying for years that and it's true, that the cost of a Wesleyan education for the average West Virginian is sometimes as affordable or even more affordable than going to a public institution. Not in every case, but in a lot of cases. Programs like this remove the complexity from that conversation. And here today, the website that everybody should check out is www.wvwc.edu/hereyoucan. And students are going to see, when that site launches today, a real clear picture into here's how much I'm going to qualify for. Here's what the cost of my education at Wesleyan is going to look like, and it's going to be predictable. So not only do private colleges, sometimes people think they're more expensive in actuality because we have higher sticker prices, we also have not done a great job of being very clear about the actual cost of attendance, and we're really taking some big steps to do that. So there's no question marks around it.
Doc, the college and the town of Buchanan are so intertwined, it's hard to tell where one ends and the other begins, et cetera. How's the community doing after the flood?
I really appreciate that question. I think the community is doing as well as it can be doing, and we appreciate all the support that's come in from the rest of the state and beyond. Mayor Skinner and the city folks, the county commission and those folks, the emergency management professionals, Steve Wyckoff, I'm giving shout outs. All these community partners are professionals. They're pros. So I think our preparedness was off the charts. Also, thanks to a Wesleyan grad named Jeff Harvey, who really led us through those preparedness steps during COVID as a community. Here's the thing. It was devastating. Yes. Is the recovery over? Nope. Long-term recovery is going to take a long time. But I saw faculty members and staff members whose basements were flooded grab shovels to help. I'm getting choked up. Thanks a lot. To help their neighbors before they dug their own stuff out, right? And so for us at Wesleyan to be part of that recovery, it's just, we're just honored to be able to do it. Our home is the community's home. So,
West Virginia Wesleyan College President Dr. James Moore announcing new initiatives this morning. 4-year locked-in tuition, increased academic scholarships, creating new opportunities for qualifying students to have the full cost of tuition covered. We'll have a story up later today over at wvmetronews.com. Hey, thanks for coming by. Appreciate it.
Thank you. We really appreciate you guys, the partnership. Thank you so much.
Stop by anytime. You know where we are.
All right.
I know where you are, too. We'll come by anytime if we want.
Please do.
All
Sounds
right.
great.
Dr. James Moore, West Virginia Wesleyan College President. Take a break. Back in a moment. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
Right now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
It's good to have options for your family or employees. Rooted in your community since 1979, the health plan is your trusted partner. Get flexible coverage, exceptional support, and competitive rates.
The health plan, we are here for you.
They say you can't take the lottery with you. But now, you can play anywhere, anytime with iPlay. the West Virginia Lottery's official app. From Cooper's Rock to the Greenbrier River, from the bleachers to your living room, iPlay goes where you do. Safe, simple, and always West Virginia proud. Play anywhere, anytime. Download iPlay today. iPlay, the fun, secure way to play, wherever life takes you. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
This week on the Metro News Television Game of the Week powered by GoMart, the Grafton Bearcats travel to Philip Barber for the Week 1 matchup. Join us Friday, August 28th at 7 p.m. for complete live coverage from George Breyer Field. Watch live on Metro News Television, YouTube, and Facebook. Bearcats versus Colts. Friday, August 28th at 7 p.m. The Metro News Television Game of the Week powered by GoMart.
It's our 23rd anniversary, and to celebrate, we're having a huge anniversary sale all month long on all Toyota trucks and pre-owned vehicles. Thank you for 23 years, Dan Cava, Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
304 Talk 304. Here's the text line. Texter says, as a past special education teacher, I can tell you that JD, or you mean JB, needs to stay in his lane and stop talking about things he has no idea about. When parents refuse services by law, the IP process begins again. He can't just put his students back where he or she was. The county has a duty to tell the parents this so they can make an informed decision. As Attorney General, you think you would know this. All right, a couple of things here. I wanted to use this text to just bring up this point. Number one, I haven't done enough research into this subject to be able to tell you yay or nay. I saw Amelia's story this morning. JB was going to be in studio. We were going to ask him about it. That's our responsibility. But number two, what did Dr. Moore just say? And it's not unique to him. Paul Hardesty has kind of said the same thing. Others have said the same thing. Are the decisions that are being made, are we doing what's best for the student? That should be the lens through which every decision is made. And if we're looking at state law, if we're looking at 18A and all the administrative law that goes along with it that TJ read on his vacation, the question should be, TJ, are we serving the best interest of the student? And if the law or the rule is that if you remove a special ed student from a public school and then bring them back, they have to start the whole process over as if they never attended, does that serve the best interest of the student? We need to ask that question about every decision when it comes to education. I don't think we have been for a long time.
It's so simple that it's hard to implement for years and years and years. No, I mean that.
You're right.
Go with me for a second. For years and years, people have studied the Mayo Clinic. They've come from around the world to try to figure out what makes this place so effective. How are they able to innovate? How are they able to get better outcomes than anybody else? And you know what everybody at the Mayo Clinic says? We put the patient first, and everything else falls into place. That is their mission in a sentence. It's so true. And it can be true of a lot of other things. I think that's the point you're getting at and illustrating. If you put the student first, the outcomes will follow. If you worry about each play when the ball is snapped, the scoreboard will take care of itself. It's not rocket science. It is so simple. But sometimes when we as humans are confronted with something that is so simple, we cannot comprehend that it is that easy, and we want to muck it up because we think it has to be more complex to be effective. That's a lie.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And you know what happens when we get to Charleston? You get in the education committees of the Senate or the House. You've got this lobby group, whether it's teachers' unions or you get the political action committees, and they've got an agenda to push. And I say this very carefully, it gets mucked up. There. And what do you end up with? Confusing, maybe not confusing laws, but confusing implementation, confusing rules, and the whole situation. What gets lost? Is this the best interest of the student? I thought James Moore put it very, very well.
Yeah, simplicity. Yep. Simplicity, brother, in everything.
A little common sense goes a long way. All right, final break. We'll wrap up hour number 1. Tell you what's coming up in hour number 2. Boy, this hour's going by quick, by the way. Back in a moment. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
Are you ready to reach the finish line of retirement? At the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group, we provide comprehensive guidance for retirement planning in West Virginia. With years of experience, we'll draft a plan tailored for your unique goals. Whether you're just starting or nearing retirement, we make the process as simple as possible, easy, and stress-free. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike to set up a complimentary consultation and get started on your plan today. Let's work toward your dream retirement together.
In West Virginia, community is everything. It's about showing up for each other. Vin Salengo and the team at Salengo Law don't just work here, they live here, proudly sponsoring local events and giving back to the neighborhoods they love. So when you're facing a serious injury, trust the local team that's always in your corner. They spent over 25 years fighting for West Virginia families. Salengo Law. Get results, not excuses. Visit us at salengolaw.com.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
At Daniel's Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniel's is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in-store at Daniel's.
It's our 23rd anniversary, and to celebrate, we're having a huge anniversary sale all month long on all Toyota trucks and pre-owned vehicles. We've discounted over 100 pre-owned vehicles this month, most of which are local one-owner trades. Great deals on all our Toyota trucks, and with over 90 in stock, now is the time to get yours. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for all the support over 23 years. Dan Cava, Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
A lot of patients come here without much hope, and I think we can give them hope.
We offer a full spectrum of interventions suitable for every kind of person that walks through our door. We do absolutely everything we can to help you achieve your family building goals.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now. What's wilder than the West Virginia Lottery's new $20 Wild Red Sevens scratch-off? The chance to win 10 times your prize and a $70,000 top prize. You could go wild with all the possibilities. Pick up your Wild Red Sevens ticket at your favorite West Virginia Lottery retailer today. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. All right, coming up second hour, speaking of education, we're going to talk to Berkeley County Delegate Mike Hornby. This month, the ACLU announced its intention to file a lawsuit over the school aid formula. What are we missing? We'll pose that question to Delegate Hornby coming up in the second hour. Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern and Jim McKay will also join us. Haven't heard much on school clothing vouchers and TANF funding. We'll see what he has to say, his perspective. Also, a couple of texts we got to get to, and if we have time, more thoughts on the, not necessarily the flock cameras, but the discussion surrounding the flock cams. We got a lot to do. We only have an hour to do it. 800-765-TALK is the phone number. 304-TALK, 304 is the text line. Go get you a big jug of sweet tea, maybe a pepperoni roll. Get you set for the second hour. Talkline coming back in a moment on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Well, welcome into your latest forecast here on a Tuesday. Meteorologist Joe Hansel with you. It's another day with a well-deserved break of the rain. It'll be a primarily dry day. Any isolated shower that manages to develop in our mostly stable environment will be brief and isolated. Most of us are dry. The main impacts may be with fog yet. Still be mindful of low visibility, naturally, with any fog that may impact your morning drives out there. Fly Saber forecast, it starts at home. Tampa near 92, Orlando 95, Atlanta 94, elsewhere New York City 81. Watching for a chance of a shower and storm. From Panhandle to Panhandle, highs mid-70s to near 80. A mix of sun and clouds, but generally mostly sunny and dry for the day. Some of our high elevation spots, some more low 70s popping up, and some mid to upper 70s too. Eastern Panhandle in the low to mid 80s with a mixture of sun and clouds, but mostly sunny today. Across some of our northern areas in the state, Morgantown, heavy at 77 today. Harrisville, near the Big 80 at 80 with sunshine. And to the south, it's more 70s and 80s, generally low to mid 80s for west spots like Huntington, heavy at 84. Summersville, near 76 with sunshine today. Charleston, dry, high near 83. Light north winds or variable at times as well. And partly cloudy skies with some areas of patchy to widespread dense fog. Overnight and tomorrow morning that it may impact the state. Well, I'll be watching a slight chance of showers and storms on Thursday. Best timing of showers and storms around Thursday night, where some locally heavy rain is a possibility. So I'm keeping eyes on Thursday night for our best chance of rain. For the end of the weekend, the weekend, it's very low. Most of us may be dry for Friday and Saturday. Less than 10% chance of showers there in Charleston, near 90 next week, Monday.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Second hour of MetroNews Talkline. Dave and TJ in the Encova Insurance Studios. Dave Morgantown, TJ in Charleston, of course. Ethan Collins, our radio producer today. And Zach Karolchek is handling the video stream if you're watching in on the MetroNews TV app, Facebook Live, and YouTube. Say good morning to our great radio affiliates across the state of West Virginia. We appreciate you being part of our day, and we appreciate you letting us be part of yours as well. 304-TALK, 304, that's the text line, 800-765-TALK, the phone number. Coming up, Jared Halpern, Fox News Radio, will join us, get an update from Washington, D.C., a ruling from the Supreme Court, a win for the Trump administration. We'll get into that with Jared. Also, bottom of the hour, Jim McKay will join us. He is the state director for Prevent Child Abuse West Virginia. He has been very vocal on how the TANF funding has created a certain amount of uncertainty, if you will, among the nonprofit organizations. Plus, we'll get an update on if he knows anything about school vouchers and or school clothing vouchers and that application process. That's coming up, bottom of the hour. Say good morning, TJ Meadows in Charleston. Hey, TJ.
Good morning, sir. This is coming across the notifications on the old iPhone here. New York Times, Wall Street Journal, other outlets reporting Canada announcing this morning it will start collecting tariffs of 50, 25, and 15%, Dave, on about 700 products coming from the United States beginning on September the 8th. It looks like American steel and aluminum will be hit with a 50% tariff. Lots of stuff, though. Lots of household items here, aluminum foil, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, this, so yeah, there you go. It just continues. We all end up paying it because taxes are tariffs and tariffs are taxes, and businesses don't pay either. They pass them on to the customer.
Good thing we have the best maple syrup right here in the good old state of West Virginia.
There it is.
Something like that. I'm not kidding. The maple syrup's good. Please, maple syrup farmers, don't get upset with me. The maple syrup's great. Just being facetious about the tariffs. All right, I'm going to climb out of that hole. Joining us on MetroNews Talkline this morning, he said awkwardly, Berkeley County Delegate Michael Hornby. Maybe a couple of weeks ago, it was earlier this month, that the state of West Virginia was sent an intent to file suits on behalf of a class of Lincoln County students, the ACLU, alleging that persistent underfunding of public schools violates the thorough and efficient education guarantee and the equal protection provisions of the state constitution. Of course, we spoke to the ACLU about that lawsuit. The school aid formula is front and center in their allegations. But is there more to this conversation? Are we missing part of the conversation? Let's bring Delegate Mike Hornby from Berkeley County into the conversation to find out. Delegate Hornby, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Are we missing part of the conversation? Is there more to this conversation than just a formula?
Yeah, I think there's much more to this conversation than just a formula. If you look at funding for our public schools, going back to 2017, we were roughly $800 million. You look at our budget this year, we're at $2.4 billion. So while I understand where Lincoln County is coming from, it's not just the wealthy areas that are getting more funding. It's the whole school system's getting more funding. We have lost about 20% of our students in that time. And if you look at it, we have more professional educators than we did at that time. So I think it's more than that. When you look at the school aid formula, it doesn't take into account, local housing prices. It doesn't take into account a lot of that thing. When the RAND report came out, it was a great report and it gave us some advice, but it didn't tell us the how to fix the school aid formula. I know Chairman Ellington and I have been working on this for about 2 years with Uriah Cummings from the Education Department. And it's a very complicated issue. If you look at some of our counties are getting funding way less than what they have to staff.
Mike, a little more fundamental. Let's talk and go back to our federal constitution, or not even that. Let's go to the Declaration of Independence. We are promised the ability or encouraged the pursuit of happiness. We are not guaranteed happiness. We are not guaranteed certain economic outcomes. And the reason that is because constitutionally speaking, it's not possible. People have to earn that for themselves. Is our Constitution and the promise of a thorough and efficient education somewhat arcane given where West Virginia is at economically? No offense to the fine people in Lincoln County, but it's not exactly a bastion of economic activity, and not sure that it's ever going to be, whereas Putnam County or Berkeley County or Jefferson County or anywhere that might have better economic prosperity. We have to deal with that reality too, do we not? That some places in West Virginia are just not economically viable.
I think you make a great point there, but I do think we can provide a free and fair education based on what we're doing with the Education Department. It all comes back down to how you read the Constitution. It says, that second part that they always forget is where it says under law, which is why I ran that bill to put the Department of Education under rulemaking review, not to put our fingers on the pulse of everything that's going on in the Department of Education, but to be able to work with the Department of Education like we do with all the other agencies.
Delegate Mike Hornby joining us from Berkeley County. As we look at the education landscape, TJ and I were just talking about this in the last hour. Dr. James Moore brought this up. He was obviously talking about West Virginia Wesleyan College. But are we looking at education and asking the central question, what's in the best interest of the students when we are making these decisions, whether it's school funding, rules, school choice, whatever the case may be? Have we been asking that question in West Virginia?
I think over the last few years we have been asking those questions, especially on the House side. I can't speak for the Senate, but we have definitely been asking those questions and trying to find out what the fix has been much more difficult in the 4 years that I've been on education.
I want to focus in on this idea that a lawsuit may propel action where the legislature has not been able to find the political will to solve the problem. And I'm not necessarily talking about any individual legislator, but this idea that the body has not been able to come together to move something on the school aid formula for the last couple of years. We've heard Paul Hardesty talk about the fact he's been asking for help. He says he's not getting it. A lawsuit could break through the political logjam, could it not, and move the issue forward?
I don't see how the lawsuit would benefit. I mean, I know Paul Hardesty has been asking for help, but the department has not put forth anything constructive to either the House or Senate education, in my opinion. We are open ears to discussing that. The crux comes in when you have so many different people with so many different. There's so many different geographies in West Virginia. Berkeley County is nothing like Mango County. Kanawha County is nothing like Morgan County, in my opinion. So you have how does this affect my county? How does this affect my funding? I think moving forward, we need to do this as a broad funding formula where it starts out, nobody ever loses any funding. I think that could be a key start to the school aid formula. Is from now on, you will not lose funding. Doesn't matter if you lose students.
Talking to Delegate Mike Hornby, Berkeley County Delegate, talking about the school aid formula. Does it need tweaked, or do we need to scrap the whole thing, start over from scratch?
Well, in my opinion, probably start over from scratch, but that's probably not the most practical way to do it. I've been working with Uriah Cummings for a while, and there's a reason that the school aid formula is built how it is. It's because there are some fairness things in there. Every county is so different. There are the steps. If you think about the school aid formula, the state does not provide all of the funding per student. It provides about a third. So you have to go off a lot of averages. You have to look at different geography and different bus routes and things like that. And then there are counties that are making a lot of money from their real estate taxes. And there are counties that are losing money on their real estate taxes. So a county like Berkeley is growing, and the funding formula helps us. But in the local share part, we get punished for having a prosperous community. And I don't think that's fair. When you look at the salaries of Berkeley County teachers, we are about $5,000 less on average than any other in the state. And that's because so many of our teachers come, they learn, and then they move for those giant salaries in neighboring parts of the state.
I understand this question may sound a bit heartless, perhaps even rigid, but I think it is one that needs to be asked, because otherwise I think we're failing to deal with the root of the problem. Should these counties that are more prosperous be expected to prop up school systems that frankly do not have a runway of sustainability and continue to operate too many schools when they should operate less schools? I just don't see how that is equitable to the counties that are doing well when those monies could be spent in their own county doing things for their own students.
Yeah, I mean, if we got to spend our own money in our own county, that would be great. But we also have to realize that the southern coal fields have been propping up the rest of the state for a very, very long time. And just because they are suffering in their thing now doesn't mean we should abandon them. So I think there can be some equitable spending, but at the same time, you can't hold back counties to their detriment to make sure they can't move forward with what they want to do with education.
Mike, can the legislature, I'm asking you to look into a crystal ball here, but can the legislature get something done, significantly done here on this issue before a lawsuit comes and a judge tells you you're going to get something done on this issue? Can we avoid that?
I think we have to. We have to. And I know Chairman Statler and Vice Chairman Toney have been working with Senator Grady. It is part of our education interims every single session. We have worked with the Department of Education on this. It's trying to come up with that one-size-fits-all formula that will be effective. I would love to hear what the department would like to see. I think 18 and 18A are something we need to address. It's far too complicated, and there's way too many rules. So I think we got to maybe get back to local control a little bit.
Teachers unions like 18 and 18A. I don't think the State Board of Education likes it any more than the legislature does. I think you guys have agreement on that.
Yeah. And I think for too long, they've been in control, and they've built up that pack of rules. I mean, it's we even tried to let the administration in districts maybe cut some administrators in their main buildings, and that was fought back in the House Education Committee vehemently.
Delegate Mike Hornby, Berkeley County delegate, sits on the House Education Committee. Certainly going to be a topic when we all get back to Charleston in January for the 2027 session. It's not going anywhere, so might as well address the elephant in the room, Mike.
No, I think it has to be an emergency that we take care of this and we do it once and for all.
Mike, we appreciate the time this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Take a break. Come back. We'll check in with Jared Halpern at the White House right after this.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
It's good to have options for your family or employees. Rooted in your community since 1979, the health plan is your trusted partner. Get flexible coverage, exceptional support, and competitive rates.
The health plan, we are here for you.
Picture a community where every space tells a story. Those are the communities we're designing at ZLM Architects and Engineers. With a blend of creativity and technical expertise, we design spaces that inspire, innovate, and ignite change. From cutting-edge educational facilities to community-centric gathering spaces, we're committed to improving lives through design. Let us help you shape a brighter future for generations to come. Because at ZLM, it's more than architecture. It's about building your legacy.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Football season begins right here on Metro News Television. Join us Thursday, August 27th for the 2026 WVSSAC kickoff game. Presented by the Army National Guard. The Cameron Dragons battle the Clay Battelle Seabees live from Blacksville. Don't miss the first kickoff of the new season, the 2026 WVSSAC kickoff game. Thursday, August 27th at 7 p.m. Pre-game coverage starts at 6:30 p.m. Powered by GoMart, only on Metro News Television.
I think many people have a misconception that all that we do is infertility care, and that's not the case. Reproductive health matters whether or not you're trying to conceive. So we can be dealing with endometriosis, ovulation dysfunction, PCOS. You're getting linked up with all the specialties that you need to optimize your care. And being an advocate for your reproductive health is important. The most rewarding times that I have is when I'm empowering people to take control of their health.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
It's our 23rd anniversary, and to celebrate, we're having a huge anniversary sale all month long on all Toyota trucks and pre-owned vehicles. Thank you for 23 years, Dan Cava, Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
A lot of patients come here without much hope, and I think we can give them hope.
We offer a full spectrum of interventions suitable for every kind of person that walks through our door. We do absolutely everything we can to help you achieve your family building goals.
CityNet is West Virginia's local internet provider. High-speed, reliable fiber internet is probably right at your front door. Now is the perfect time to connect. Local customer support you can trust, perfect for working from home, streaming, or gaming, maybe even running a business. Fast, reliable fiber internet built for everyday life. When it's high-speed internet you need, CityNet.net connects, protects, and perfects. Yesterday afternoon, the U.S. Supreme Court cleared the way for a Trump administration executive order to be implemented that imposes restrictions on mail-in voting. Let's check in with Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern at the White House. Jared, good morning. This executive order, what are we talking about here?
Well, we should be clear. What the Supreme Court did was not exactly allow it
to happen. What they said was that an injunction blocking it was premature, that the lawsuit that has been filed by about 24 states was premature, that no harm, quote, has been done to plaintiffs yet. That being said, it would allow kind of the ongoing work that has to be done for an executive order like this to move forward. What the executive order essentially does is it would require the Department of Homeland Security to compile a list in every state of eligible American citizens to vote, and then the post office would not be able to deliver a ballot to that address if it were not on the list. Most experts do not believe this is something that, even if it were to move forward, could be implemented before the 2026 midterms. A lot of states are already heavy in the process of getting these ballots out the door. Early voting in some of these states begins in just a couple of months. And so it is still a pretty tall task, I think, for this to be something that would have a huge impact on 2026. Obviously, there are concerns about 2028 and what mail-in voting may look like. But the Supreme Court did make clear that this is not a ruling on the, quote, merits of the case. They are not deciding whether or not this executive order is lawful. They simply said that the injunction that a lower court put in place was premature. The states that initially started this lawsuit say that they will restart the process now that the official order has been drafted and has been implemented, and that could lead to another injunction, another review, another appeal, and another Supreme Court look at this.
So it's not ripe. We understand that. We'll see if it does ripen and they take a look at it later. Practically, you talked about the effects here. What is the Postal Service now saying on what they're doing and the timelines that they're up against?
Well, again, the timeline is not really on the Postal Service so much as DHS and these other agencies having to kind of compile this database. They have to work with states to do that, so states could drag their feet. States could continue to challenge this. And so that's really the logistical issue here is this requires the federal government to essentially compile a list from states of their eligible voters and then run that through a database that would be checked by the Postal Service. So, again, that is one of the reasons that it seems unlikely that you're going to see this at least fully implemented before the midterm elections.
Talking to Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern. Jared, yesterday, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announced new sanctions on Iran, and the idea being to cripple the Iranian economy as this war drags on.
Yeah, this is in the form of what are called secondary sanctions. So Iran is sanctioned to the hilt by the U.S., right? That they are completely cut off from the U.S. markets. They are completely cut off from most European markets, but they are not cut off from other markets. They still have trade relationships with China, with India, with other banks and financial institutions, with Turkey. And what the secretary said yesterday is essentially you have to choose if you're going to do business with us or with them, because you can't do both. And basically the threat here is that if these countries continue to have any sort of economic interaction with Iran, they will be cut off from the U.S. dollar. They will be cut off from American banks. They will face secondary sanctions. And the idea here, again, being that this is a further way to isolate Iran's economy, that this puts pressure on other countries to end the purchase of oil, to end any sort of trade relationship for aviation products, for steel products, for energy products. China gets an awful lot of its oil from Iran. Now, what was left out of the secretary's announcement was any sort of formal deadline for these countries to comply. What the secretary said is that conversations are now happening behind the scenes. President Trump is involved. Other senior officials are involved to, quote, level set, to let these countries know what is expected of them and what the consequences would be. But there was not sort of a date certain that this has to happen. And the secretary was mindful that in some cases it may not happen as quickly as other cases. because you don't want to have a major disruption to the global economy. But he also said that the United States patience is not limitless or endless.
I mean, practically, I understand what we would do and cut off the other countries from use of the dollar and exchange in the dollar. But the black market, I mean, it's just going to skyrocket there, right? I mean, anything from the administration on that?
That's been the other thing that you've seen happen, right, is the United States wants these other countries to do more to block what's called the shadow fleet, right? Iran has access to these kind of unsanctioned vessels. Now, the blockade has stopped most of them, but they are still able to deal with kind of these puppet accounts, these financial institutions in parts of the world that the United States says are essentially fronts for the IRGC. And so this is going to be certainly a task for those governments to end those financial sectors. And Besant says that they have all kinds of information and will be sharing it with these countries about where this money is and how it should be stopped and what the consequences will be if it is not.
Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern from the White House. Jared, we appreciate the update. Thank you.
Sure thing.
Coming up, we haven't talked about TANF in a few days. We'll do that on the other side of the break. Plus, get some of your text in, 304-TALK, 304, 800-765-8255. That is the phone number, 304-TALK, 304. That is the text line. Coming up, we'll talk to Jim McKay, State Director of Prevent Child Abuse, West Virginia. How is the uncertainty around TANF affecting all of the nonprofits that rely on it? We'll talk about that next. This is Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. It's 11:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening all across the great state of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Well, welcome into your latest forecast here on a Tuesday. Meteorologist Joe Hansel with you. It's another day with a well-deserved break of the rain. It'll be a primarily dry day. Any isolated shower that manages to develop in our mostly stable environment will be brief and isolated. Most of us are dry. The main impacts may be with fog yet. Still be mindful of low visibility, naturally, with any fog that may impact your morning drives out there. Fly Saber forecast, it starts at home. Tampa near 92, Orlando 95, Atlanta 94, elsewhere New York City 81. Watching for a chance of a shower and storm. From Panhandle to Panhandle, highs mid-70s to near 80. A mix of sun and clouds, but generally mostly sunny and dry for the day. Some of our high elevation spots, some more low 70s popping up and some mid to upper 70s too. Eastern Panhandle in the low to mid 80s with a mixture of sun and clouds, but mostly sunny today. Across some of our northern areas in the state, Morgantown, heavy at 77 today. Harrisville, near the Big 80 at 80 with sunshine. And to the south, it's more 70s and 80s, generally low to mid 80s for west spots like Huntington, heavy at 84. Summersville, near 76 with sunshine today. Charleston, dry, high near 83. Light north winds or variable at times as well. And partly cloudy skies with some areas of patchy to widespread dense fog. Overnight and tomorrow morning that it may impact the state. Well, I'll be watching a slight chance of showers and storms on Thursday. Best timing of showers and storms around Thursday night, where some locally heavy rain is a possibility. So I'm keeping eyes on Thursday night for our best chance of rain. For the end of the weekend, the weekend, it's very low. Most of us may be dry for Friday and Saturday. Less than 10% chance of showers there in Charleston, near 90 next week, Monday.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
On the next State of Minds.
I was in liver failure, and I was told I needed to quit drinking or I was going to die, and that was at 36. When he invited me to church, all the hair on my arms, my chest, my back, it all stood up. You're taught to love, you're taught to forgive, and there's a reason for that. It lets you be healthy and lets you move forward with a vision for your life that's not defined by what happened to you.
304 Talk 304, that's the text line. 800-765-TALK is the phone number. Spent a lot of time this summer talking about TANF, the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program, whether or not there is a structural deficit, dipping into reserve funds to fund that program. The school clothing voucher certainly has been a part of that discussion, the delays. Spent a lot of time talking to lawmakers and the Senate and the House, getting their reactions. How are the programs that are reliant on TANF, how are they impacted with all the uncertainty surrounding this program? Well, joining us this morning to give some insights is Jim McKay, State Director of Prevent Child Abuse West Virginia. He joins us on MetroNews Talkline this morning. Jim, good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We've talked a lot, probably the most I've ever talked about TANF, to be honest, over the summer here, whether or not the program has a deficit, how much is it, but how are the programs and the nonprofits around West Virginia that serve needy families and specifically needy children, how are they dealing with all the uncertainty that has been swirling around the last several months?
It's been a real challenge. We appreciate that lawmakers and yourself and other journalists have really shown a light on the importance of the Temporary Aid to Needy Families program, TANF, because it's really a federally funded support for those families and supports a lot of really important programs from family support centers to child care resource and referral agencies, legal aid, 211. And these are programs where families can access that support. And for our organization, it really is about helping families thrive so that we don't reach a crisis that then results in, the need for foster care and so forth. The primary purpose, the federal purpose for TANF is to provide assistance for needy families so that children can be cared for in their own homes or in the home of relatives. We know that's an ongoing challenge for West Virginia. These programs are really important for that, but the uncertainty, the delay on contracts, which continues to this day, has really had an adverse impact. Programs have lost staff. They're now not able to hire staff while they wait for a contract. They have a promise, but they don't have paperwork that their boards of directors, and you can't run a business on a promise. You need your invoices to be paid, and none of these programs have received a dime in new funding since the beginning of July.
These outcomes, these strategies you're talking about, Jim, do you believe the overall goal here is death by 1,000 cuts?
I would hope not. I think it's a question of priorities, and for us and for we get to see the impact that you talk about, the clothing voucher and the difference that makes for a family to be able to have new clothes for their child. I've actually had the opportunity to be part of some family support centers when they've gone with families to help use their clothing allowance, and the look on their face is just wonderful to see that they have what they need: a notebook, a brand new notebook, a backpack, a new set of clothes, a school uniform in one case. And so, for us, we all, I think West Virginia cares about our kids. We sometimes have different policy approaches of this or that. But we hope that this can be, and it seems like there has been a lot of shared interest in making sure we do what's right for kids. Maybe some difference of opinion on what's the biggest priority for that, but we hope this is a chance to, all right, let's set aside the politics, let's put kids first, let's put families first, and do what they need. And hopefully that will be the ultimate result of this process.
Jim McKay is joining us, State Director of Prevent Child Abuse West Virginia. What kind of contracts, give us an idea, what kind of contracts are being delayed and the impact that has?
So essentially everything from the Bureau for Family Assistance that relies on temporary aid to needy families, the TANF funds, has been delayed in one way or another. We were pleased when the governor proposed level funding. We know there's tight budget years and so forth, but there was level funding. TANF was requested at $177 million of authorized spending. That was not going to impact any cuts. There was really no discussion until the press conference with audit results, which were centered on savings that should free up more dollars. None of the contracts we've gotten a fifth quarter, but at the end of June, these programs got their fifth quarter for family support centers, but none of them have gotten an invoice paid. They basically had a change order for that fifth quarter. And then a couple weeks ago, when the legislature was in session for interims in August, that was when the fiscal year 27 grants were then posted to OASIS. They're due in September. There's questions. There's some increased audit requirements and so forth that are being addressed. But all of this is just pending. It's a contract posting. It is not release of funds, child care resource and referrals, legal aid. All of these programs have had delays. And even those that were processed in the spring, I don't believe anyone has gotten their first quarter payment. We're now 7 weeks into a fiscal year. And that's a real challenge. It's hard to keep your staff. And because of the discussions about potential cuts, staff has gone where they need to, and that's had an expense for us to retrain. Some of these certifications cost $500, $800. You lose a staff member with 8 years of experience working with families. It's trusted by the community. That's a huge loss for these programs.
Here we are, August the 25th. I believe school will have started at the end of this week for all save 2 West Virginia counties. Do we have any firm data on how many applications for the school clothing voucher were received, processed, and then executed? How many dollars actually went out the door? Do we have any way of knowing how many kids got the help that they need?
We do not. That has not been shared. I know it's been asked for. This is a program that goes back, I believe, to Arch Moore's administration. So long time ago, predates TANF, which is now 30 years old. And it was actually begun as a dropout prevention program, because there's studies that show that if you don't feel good about what you're wearing, you're not likely to go to school as much. And so we think of these first day of school pictures and families, but we know some have been processed. There was the 3-week delay, then a 1-week opening, and then suddenly it was closed for applications. That was the same week we had a flood impacting Lewis County and about 10 counties in the center of our state. So those families were not likely to have submitted paperwork, which included additional verification of income as a new process. Then over the weekend, we saw on some of the Facebook groups, Food ER, which is a support group for food security, families were saying, "Oh, I got it added to my EBT card. I didn't apply." And so the process, the current TANF state plan says
whoa, hang on one second,
Jim. You caught that
too. Yeah, hang on one second there. Did you tell me people got clothing voucher money and they did not apply?
So if you're on TANF or West Virginia Works, the current TANF state plan says if you have school-age children, you automatically receive it.
Okay.
And what's happened is that some of those families they're like, it showed up. And then other families are saying, what do you mean it showed up? I applied the first day and I haven't heard anything. So there's a lot of lack of clarity on, and so it's not somebody that wasn't eligible. I want to clarify that. It's somebody that, it was an automatic benefit. And that's also part of the discussion that happened during interims is there's just a lack of clarity. Okay, I apply this way. No, it's this way. And ultimately, it's had a lot of confusion associated with a program that's been in place for nearly 40 years. But this year has had a lack of clarity in the process.
That is for certain. There has been a lack of clarity. Jim McKay is joining us, State Director of Prevent Child Abuse West Virginia. The big discussion, or up until a certain point in July, the discussion was about a structural deficit with TANF and dipping into reserve funds to cover the cost of the program. There's been a back and forth about how much has been taken out of reserves or how big the structural deficit is. Are there at least numbers on that, Jim?
They have largely, the state has largely not shown the math. As TJ said in his column, there is still a lack of clarity of like how much has been in. We know that over many years, and TANF is federally funded, except for the maintenance of effort requirement for state dollars. So over time, we grew a large reserve fund. And then starting about 10 years ago, they started dipping into that for some programs, including childcare. And that has reduced that reserve fund to now where I believe it was estimated to be 40 million, 38 million. We've seen some different numbers there. We don't have a definitive answer on the balance, but we know they've been spending that reserve, which as an organization that serves families, there's no lack of need. Why the money doesn't sit in West Virginia's account. It's actually in the federal account. So there's no reason for TANF dollars to stay in DC when we have unmet needs in West Virginia. So we're glad the state has been spending those reserve funds. But there's definitely enough to balance the checkbook for another year or two, which has been discussed during the legislative session. But then following the session, it seems to be that there's confusion or concern from the governor's office about the long-term viability. We're pleased that he has made the commitment to sustain the funds for this year. But we have been dipping into that TANF reserve for childcare, for example, since 2017. We used to use a state dollars of 11.3 million as an annual amount. And that is now for the last several years been 3.1 million. If you take those numbers over 10 years, it's 63.7 million that used to be out of general revenue for childcare that is now coming out of TANF and TANF reserves. Well, that 63 billion, if we still had it, then we're not talking about a shortfall in any way. And childcare is a huge priority for our businesses, for our families, for workforce participation and other priorities for our state. So these are all important priorities. The state, cares about its kids, and we hope that they'll find the funds to support these programs.
Jim, time is always a factor on this program. We'll have to leave the conversation right there for now. We appreciate your time today, and we'll continue to follow this because it's not going anywhere. It'll be a discussion, again, when we get back to Charleston in January.
Sounds good. Thank you all.
Jim McKay, Prevent Child Abuse West Virginia State Director. Thank you so much for the time. Back in a moment. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
Struggling with weight can feel overwhelming, but you don't have to face it alone. At the WVU Medicine Medical and Surgical Weight Loss Center, we offer proven surgical options and compassionate support to help you achieve lasting weight loss and better health. We guide you every step of the way, from personalized planning to long-term success. Reserve your spot at a free, no-obligation information session. Call 304-293-1728 or visit wvumedicine.org/bariatrics.
Approach your retirement with confidence. With over 150 years of combined experience, the advisors of the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group provide advice and wealth management strategies to individuals, families, small businesses, professional offices, and institutions. With the Stike team, you'll have access to an advising team with extensive resources, a client-first mindset, and a passion for helping transform the lives of those we serve. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike today and join the team that's dedicated to your success.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
On the next State of Minds.
I was in liver failure, and I was told I needed to quit drinking or I was going to die, and that was at 36. When he invited me to church, all the hair on my arms, my chest, my back, it all stood up. You're taught to love, you're taught to forgive, and there's a reason for that. It lets you be healthy and lets you move forward with a vision for your life that's not defined by what happened to you.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water.
Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
It's our 23rd anniversary, and to celebrate, we're having a huge anniversary sale all month long on all Toyota trucks and pre-owned vehicles. We've discounted over 100 pre-owned vehicles this month, most of which are local one-owner trades. Great deals on all our Toyota trucks, and with over 90 in stock, now is the time to get yours. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for all the support over 23 years. Dan Cava, Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
It's not often, I mean, it happens, that I end up more confused after a guest than before the conversation. But follow me here, Meadows. What am I missing? It's possible I'm missing something. The TANF structural deficit that Governor Morrissey discussed all the way back in May. He cited COVID-era spending that inflated TANF spending, so they had to dip into the reserve funds to cover the cost of the program. That was the understanding I was under. Is that Jim just said they've been using reserve funds since 2017. And I bring that up because if you're going to blame COVID funds, okay, but it seems like we've been dipping into this since 2017. You got to come up with a better excuse. What are we doing?
Why would the funds just sit there?
Right. I have no problem using the funds.
Use the funds. And why are they sitting there in the first place? Look, man, this whole narrative, I mean, jeez, I can explain energy policy and get people to understand it better than I can this stuff. I mean, my goodness gracious. And then this idea that, well, they qualify, so we put it on the card automatically, but they didn't apply? What the heck?
Tell me it's government without telling me it's government.
Ooh.
To use the internet meme. So if you were automatically eligible, you get, which I'm fine with that too, to be honest with you. But then, what are we reviewing? Only if you had to apply for it? We got to review your application. What are we doing?
And why over the weekend? And why can't you tell me, if you know that someone qualifies for it and you process it, how come you can't tell me how many people have been processed? It just none of the equation works here, man. I mean, this thing is so fumbled. My goodness gracious.
Somewhere Pam Bondi's going, gee, guys, I could have done a better job. I mean, you couldn't go to the interim committee and say, what was it? Work West Virginia? What was the program he cited there?
West Virginia Works.
West Virginia Works. You couldn't go, we have X amount of people in West Virginia Works, so we know for a fact X amount of people qualified and were approved for the program as of right now because of the, you couldn't tell that, you couldn't have told them that at August interims? What are we doing?
And why are you holding payments on these other programs? I mean, he made the point where how many ever months now, weeks rather, into the fiscal year, and they haven't gotten their first quarter payment. Why not? Why not? I mean, how are you supposed to run a business that way? How are you supposed to run a program that way? So if you're legal aid, I haven't talked to the legal aid folks. I know some folks over there. Maybe I'll give them a call. If you haven't gotten your funding, how are you providing a service to your clients? Now, we can debate the merits of whether or not legal aid should be funded by the state and all those kinds of things, but that is secondary to the fact it was allocated. It's there. The legislature controls the purse. They expect the money to be spent. Why hasn't it been expensed?
7 minutes left in the show. Now I'm itching. All right. We'll get to some text coming up, 304 Talk 304. Got to take one more break. We'll be back. We'll squeeze in some text. We'll wrap things up. I don't know if we solved anything there, but oh well. Back in a moment. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
They say you can't take the lottery with you. But now you can play anywhere, anytime with iPlay, the West Virginia Lottery's official app. From Cooper's Rock to the Greenbrier River, from the bleachers to your living room, iPlay goes where you do. Safe, simple, and always West Virginia proud. Play anywhere, anytime. Download iPlay today. iPlay, the fun, secure way to play, wherever life takes you. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
Right now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
This week on the Metro News Television Game of the Week, powered by GoMart, the Grafton Bearcats travel to Philip Barber for the Week 1 matchup. Join us Friday, August 28th at 7 p.m. for complete live coverage from George Breyer Field. Watch live on Metro News Television, YouTube, and Facebook. Bearcats versus Colts. Friday, August 28th at 7 p.m. The Metro News Television Game of the Week, powered by GoMart.
At Daniels Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniels is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in-store at Daniels.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
It's our 23rd anniversary, and to celebrate, we're having a huge anniversary sale all month long on all Toyota trucks and pre-owned vehicles. Thank you for 23 years, Dan Cava, Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
A lot of patients come here without much hope, and I think we can give them hope.
We offer a full spectrum of interventions suitable for every kind of person that walks through our door. We do absolutely everything we can to help you achieve your family building goals.
Football season begins right here on Metro.
What is wilder than the West Virginia Lottery's new $20 Wild Red Sevens scratch-off? The chance to win 10 times your prize and a $70,000 top prize. You could go wild with all the possibilities. Pick up your Wild Red Sevens ticket at your favorite West Virginia Lottery retailer today. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. Don't forget, high school football kicks off this week. We'll get started Thursday night with the SSAC Kickoff Classic presented by the Army National Guard. Cameron at Clay Battelle. Play-by-play coverage on the Metro News TV app this Thursday night. So download the Metro News TV app right now to your mobile device and smart TV. SSAC Kickoff Classic Thursday night presented by the Army National Guard. Couple of texts here, 304 Talk 304. Thank you, Dave and TJ, for shining a light on the idiocy of our bureaucrats. Makes you question their dedication to their job versus showing up for a paycheck. I believe the answer to the TANF question is that they have lied, or at least are misleading us about this, says the texter. Well, according to your guest and following along the lines of the foster program, every foster child was automatically given the clothing voucher, right? Maybe that's why it went so quickly. I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know.
Yeah, here's the thing. I got to reconcile the timing because we've been hearing about this for weeks, and then all of a sudden, Jim tells me people are saying on Facebook it hit over the weekend. I talked to Amelia nicely. She's working on this, Dave. I think she may be available tomorrow and has much more detail. So perhaps she may join us and educate us. But I was just looking on Amazon. If anybody at the state's interested, a 5-pack of ledger paper will cost you $21. I suggest you go there and quick.
That's our default when there's questions about foster care. Call Amelia.
Yeah.
Greg from Ona, you get the text of the day. So Scott Bessett is the new Dean Werner and has put Iran on double secret probation. Well done. Well done, Greg. Follow the news of the day over at the website, wvmetronews.com. Metro News Midday coming up on many of these same Metro News radio stations. Talk to you tomorrow at 10:06. This is Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.